Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Oliver Wiedmaier at Ollie underscore all caps on Twitter, founder of Voyage Trading Group. Today is November 25th, 2022. It is the end of the Thanksgiving week, short trading week. And so a lot of really great price action the past 2 weeks and leading into the Thanksgiving break with the short week and the typical low volume trading sessions that we had this week. There actually was a lot of great price action. And so I'm going to dive into some of the broader indices and discuss the price action of those. And then we will discuss some industries, some ETFs, and some individual names. Okay, so the first chart we will look at is the SPX. This is the S&P 500 index on a GMMA chart. And so the red lines represent the faster EMAs and the blue lines represent the slower EMAs. And so what we want to see is um, all of the red lines above all of the blue lines. We want to see from this point forward, we want to see some of the blue lines starting to open back up. And so you can see when we are in this uptrend here, the blue lines open up and the red lines are facing up and are opening up as well. And so we can see during downtrends, the red lines are below the blue lines. And so this is really good start to signal whether we have made a bottom or not. Of course, looking at other indices, the NASDAQ is lagging here. However, the Dow Jones is leading, and you can see this is a totally different picture than looking at the NASDAQ. Even from a weekly perspective, the red lines have started to overtake the blue lines. If you look at the S&P 500 on a weekly, the red lines are still below the blue lines. And then the NASDAQ, the red lines are way below the blue lines, and there's this gap here. So the stocks that make up the majority of the NASDAQ are still down really bad. And whether they're going to stay down, we don't know yet. We know that, stocks like Amazon and Tesla are having a really hard time, and Apple included, are having and Microsoft, they're having a really hard time. They have a lot of overhead supply. And so we don't know if they'll ever recover back. However, right now it's holding down the rest of the NASDAQ. And so we can see that from a weekly perspective, that the NASDAQ is definitely lagging. So for the NASDAQ chart here, the QQQ, I had 281 as a bounce area. It was the low of the day after this follow through day here. And so I wanted to see us hold that level, and we did. And then we even closed above some of this overhead supply here that we had. And of course, we have a lot of overhead supply up in the 300s that we need to work through. But this is a very strong bounce here. And it was on low volume. We had a low volume because of the holiday. But we did bounce very nicely on the 22nd, and we had an inside day above this 284 pivot. I did discuss 285 in the mentorship. For the mentorship members and the education members on Discord, the Voyage Trading Group premium members, I did discuss 285 as a key level, and so we were aware of that. And so on this particular day here on the 22nd, I recommended to some of the members that if they wanted to start dollar cost averaging into the NASDAQ, that we could do that via TQQQ. TQQQ is a triple leveraged version of this. And so if we are going to trend higher, then we want to get involved with some leverage. And so TQQQ is a great way to do it. We held this area here, closed above the the high of the 21st, and that's when I wrote into the group that I was going to start accumulating some shares here, with the low, with a stop here at 281, and then our absolute kill zone will be 274. If we look at SPY on a daily, we can see that we're closing much higher across the pivot. This 390 pivot. So of course, SPY is leading compared to the Qs, and the Dow Jones, of course, is really crushing it. If we want to look at some moving averages, we can see from a weekly perspective that the Dow Jones has closed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks above the 30-week moving average. The Qs have not closed above the 30-week average, and the SPY has closed 3 weeks over the 30-week average. So definitely good to see. It makes for a stronger case that this low here, the September, was the low. For now, it's the interim low. Whether we can continue to hold that 30-day moving average, we definitely need to see the NASDAQ over it, and we need to see some confirmation, perhaps even some back testing, and to really build a strong support on the 30-day. Right now, I don't think it has a very strong support. And what I mean by strong support is you can see that back in October of 2021, it held 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks on the 30-week moving average. That makes it a very strong moving average. You can see here, very strong bounce here. 2 weeks closed above the 30-week average. That makes it very strong. And so this is what I'm referring to. So you make the low, and then you come back, and then you test it 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row. You're testing it, which is building such a stronger trampoline, so that when it is finally ready to go, it's nice and strong, and it will propel the price off of that. And so that's what you want to see. You want to see the price holding, not just one test. One test is not enough, and that's kind of where we are right now. Kind of 2 tests, perhaps, you want to call it that, maybe 1 test, but we need to see some closes up against it to really signify that this 30-week has now become support. Okay, and here we have a weekly chart of the US dollar, and we have been in this really nice, strong uptrend, holding the support line, while US equities have been moving lower. The dollar and the US stock market has been trading in reverse, as an inverse to each other, and we failed to pull higher out of this flag here. And once we broke the downtrend line, we had a very sharp fall to the downside. A small bounce on the 30-week moving average, but you can see that we had a very weak close, which is very good for U.S. equities. We want to see the dollar weakening to make way for U.S. equities, for the U.S. equity stock market to see more price to the upside. I'm very happy to see that the VIX is on its way to $20. We're at $20.51. This is unbelievable. We have been really struggling and chopping around between 20 and 30 and 20 and 30. And so what we want to see is it to break lower or to hold this 20 area. Even a retest of the 25 area is would be constructive. But for now, I'm very happy to see that it's holding this 20 area here. We can look at a daily. And you can see a little small bounce, no problem, but we want to see it holding below 25. Another chart that I really pay a lot of attention to is the number of stocks above the 50-day moving average. We have cleared my 70 area. This is a very high, important signal for me. I think that it's very important that the internals of the market are very strong, regardless of what the QQQ and what the SPY is doing. We want to see the VIX lower, we want to see the US dollar lower, and we want to see the number of stocks moving up. And so the number of stocks moving up in relation to the 50-day moving average is very important. And we want to see the vast majority of the market to be above their 50-day moving average. And I like the number 70. I think that once we get to that level, the majority of the stocks that I'm interested in trading are going to start showing up on scans. Scans will start, because I have that as a parameter, stocks above the 50-day moving average. And so the more stocks that are above the 50-day moving average means the more stocks that show up on scans, which means that more opportunities to invest and more names to invest. When there's only 8 to 12 names that are worthy of investing in, it's not that they're not the names you want to invest in, because everyone's investing in them. They're overcrowded. And so when you have 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 stocks, they become less crowded, and it becomes hard to choose the right one, which is very good. That means that it's a stock picker's market. Okay, so the number of stocks above the 200-day average is at 45. I would like to see this number hold above 50, but I do think that we have seen a big increase since this double bottom. We got as low as 15%, and so this is very strong. So let's take a look at some of the ETFs that I like to pay attention to. Okay, here we have SMH, and this is the ETF for semiconductors. I think a lot of the economy relies on semiconductors and semiconductor industry doing well. And so we are paused slightly below the 200-day moving average, holding the 8 EMA, which is very important. And we can see that the 50-day moving average has started to turn up. And so I think a few more days, tight price action under here. And if we take out the 200-day moving average, I think that would be a strong indication that we can start adding some more risk into the market and getting a little bit more aggressive. IBB is the biotech ETF. I think this is a very important sector to pay attention to. We are well above the 200-day moving average. I'm making this tight little flag here, and there are names like LLY that I like to pay attention to. And so when those kind of names start to set up, it is very bullish for the overall market, because of course biotech, there's a lot of growth in biotech because of different things like vaccines and different cancer treatments and different types of treatment that are really good for the world. And there's a lot of money being shoved into solving some of these problems. So this is a sector that I like to pay attention to, and I like to see it with bullish price action, which it is displaying. So this is just one more check on the box for bullish price action. XLE has been really outperforming the overall market. We are getting some tighter price action below this 93 pivot. I'll be interested to see as more sectors start to become bullish, if there will be money being pulled out of energy, or if energy will continue to dominate for the rest of the year, despite more sector performance and more industries participating in the rally. The last ETF that I like to pay attention to is TAN. This is another sector that I think is a great indication of risk on versus risk off. I think when there's money flowing into solar, I think that it's a good indication that there's more broader participation and there's more risk on. And so I did alert for my trading team to start accumulating. We started buying in the 75 area. And so this is an area here under this overall trend line that we need to really pay attention to. If we fail out of here, it is likely we're going to go higher. But I am looking to add more risk around the 83.3 area. If you want to take out this high for a little higher entry, a little lower entry will be 83.02, or you can wait for it to break above that trend line, even as close as $84, or even wait for it to break. I'm sorry, a retest of the breakout. But this is something I'm very bullish on. I really think with the price action getting tight here, and with the power that we're seeing coming out from the bottom in the second higher low, I think that if we get another breakout, that it will be constructive, and I will definitely put some money into the market, into this ETF. Okay, here we have CELH. This is Celsius Holdings. This is a name that we have been buying since the 92 area, when it closed above the 50-day moving average. We did get shaken out here, but we have repurchased at the 96 area. We are up about 13%, and it did close above this key area here. And so what I've instructed some of the guys in my trading group is to wait for some resting, and then we can purchase on the next breakout. So we are up very good. We do only have a pilot position, which is no big deal. And if this continues to hold this area, if you take a look at the weekly, this is a chart that is really going to explode if it can take out the 120 area. This is a type of trade that we can see in the next 18 months or 2 years, tripling, going to even 300. So yeah, we are small right now. We only have a small position here, but as the price starts to rise and then rest and then rise and then rest, we will ride the trend and continue adding, and hopefully build a massive 30 or 40% precision. And then over the next 2 to 3 years, perhaps we triple our money. And so this is something that I'm very glad that I alerted in the group. A lot of the members purchased this when I sent out the trade idea. And so I'm really excited to see how it trades. Another name we are watching is PI. We traded it somewhere in here, but we did get shaken out, I believe, by this. But this is really constructive. This is an inside day above the pivot. And so the alert will be set for 124. And then if we confirm with volume, then we will most likely buy a pilot position up here. But this is a fantastic name. Whenever you see a name after earnings have this big gap up and hold, or even with a shakeout, which is we really want to see, because then you really are having some big new money coming back in after the shakeout. So this is a really great name. If you look at the weekly, it is looking poised to go higher after this cup and handle. And so this is a great looking chart, and we are excited for it. SMCI continues to move higher. We had a purchase down at 75, and it's just riding this trend now. And this is really great action, waiting for it to rest a little bit before making a second entry on it. But this is a very nice name. If you look at the weekly, you can see what happens once you clear this resistance. What happens 4 weeks straight up. So we are expecting a little bit of a rest here, and we will trade it again. LLY is the just talked about it. You can see that it had this nice triple inside day here, and it came out. I did make a purchase here, but I think 363 was what I bought it, but I did sell it same day. I did not like the way it closed. It did kind of shake me out here. I had a intraday stop here, and it did shake me out here. No big deal. The next entry will be above 369 too. Call it 370. If they can tighten up just maybe 2-3 days right here. If you look at the weekly, it looks poised to go higher. Again, the last name we will take a look at is STNG. You can see that it broke out here, retested, made some more resistance up here, retested the breakout, and then had this really big volume here, unable to hold the breakout, and then came back and did a 21 EMA shakeout. This is exactly what I want to see before a purchase. I want to see big volume. I want to see a small shakeout, and then I want to see it hold the pivot, which makes the resistance stronger, which means that the breakout will be even stronger too. So if we can get a breakout above 53.25 and then close above 54.25, that would be a really good start for something like that. Of course, not the wiggle, but that would be a great start for a new run. If you take a look at the weekly, if we do that, I can definitely see this stock going 4 or 5 weeks straight up before before resting again. And so that's exactly what I want to look at. I want to see a strong name riding a trend on a weekly, resting for 3 to 6 weeks, and then moving much higher. So that's exactly how we want to trade it. We want to trade every time it breaks out after a 4 to 6 week rest. And STNG is setting up for that opportunity. And so I'm going to advise my guys in my trade group for a trade idea about 53.25 must close strong above 54, call it 30. Okay, that's it. Really appreciate you guys listening. And if you guys want more trade ideas, head on over to the Discord. I'm there. I'm happy to help. So see you guys over there. Later.